Alright, so this is about as hippie as I'm ever going to get on this channel, and it's very, very hippie, just as a forewarning. What can I say? I like going to Tree of Life shops. They've got nice crystals, soothing music. What's not to like? Probably ideas like this. It's going to turn off a lot of people, but whatever. I believe in spirit animals. Deal with it. And probably, I don't know, look, star sign, spirit animals, which one of those? But it's in that little realm of the pocket of my secret shame. I do like any of these books. Look, any book that has a woman on the front with that grey hair being like, I'm all about it. In fact, actually, let's broaden the idea. Have you ever heard of the idea of Synchro-destiny? I think it's an old Ayurvedic tradition, which is the idea that there are multiple destinies happening at once. And by multiple, it just means that everybody is on their path in life, their dharma, which is that, you know, if an eagle is flying around and it sees a snake and then goes, takes the snake, that is the snake's dharma, to be the spaghetti for the eagle. And the eagle's dharma is to be like, that's a nice meatball, to the snake. And so, in your life, I hope you don't get swooped up by an eagle. Purely just for the numbers on this channel. It's not as high as I hope it would. But anyway, but I want you... No, actually, you know, I'm doing all right. Look, I want you to think about it in your own life, which is the idea that you have a preordained destiny and that it can be shaped with your own volition and will. And you know what? In a way, this is what the science is sort of telling us, isn't it? That you don't think the thoughts you think because you yourself thought them. It's because of your conditioning, your surroundings, so you just think those thoughts automatically. For instance, if I say sport, it's probably very unlikely that the first thing that came to your mind was Lacoste, you know? Whatever the fuck that crap thing with the little shitty nets is, you know? Because we're not Canadian. But there's all of these things in life that it just shapes the way that your life is naturally leading towards, as in like, my daddy's a coal miner, so I'm going to be a coal miner. But you can take actions into your own hands and you can shape your own destiny. That's the general outline of this. But I think, and this is the argument, I think it is useful to think that there is a preordained destiny for you and that it is good, or at the very least that you're serving your purpose in the universe. And let me unpack that. There is this idea in Synchro-destiny that say, what's a good idea of this? Okay, say that you see, you know, clowns handing out balloons. And you're just like, oh, that's a bit weird. And then you go throughout your day-to-day life, and then another woman comes up to you and is just like, you want this balloon? Sorry, girl. You're like, you want this balloon? You're like, all right, thanks, sweet cheeks. And you just keep going throughout your day. All of that starts to accumulate in your mind, and you start getting this bank in the back of your head of just being like, what's with this with balloons? And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, okay, maybe I should, you know, then you start seeing like a business opportunity, you start selling balloons or whatever, and then you just become this balloon magnate. And it's because you just kept seeing these little pieces of your destiny kind of just coming out in a clue to you from, I don't know, the universe, man, or whatever, just going like, yeah, just move into ballooning. You know, it's this idea that all of these little coincidences start happening that show you like, this is the sign, go this way. So it's kind of like this assurance thing in the back of your mind of, I'm going this way, should I be going this way? And then, you know, psychic energies start putting in signs to be like, yeah, you're going the right way, or no, don't go that way. And you just move away from it. Now, damn, this is shameful. Anyway, this is actually legitimately what I believe. You're listening to somebody who, look, why don't I have really saggy orangutan tits and an old mood? I am a 60-year-old woman, I'm telling you. But, from the Tree of Life, that is me. But, my example of this synchro-destiny happening throughout my life is foxes. I swear to God, every time I'm about to make some major decision in my life, a fox just comes up and is like, and runs away. When I was 5 years old, I was on an excursion with my mum because she was a teacher at the time, in just advanced 5 years to year 6. And anyway, it was the first time that I saw on the land this fox run past the bus. I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then my mum gave me this huge lecture about, foxes are bad for the environment, they're killing all the native animals, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Can you deny this? They've got little faces. Anyway, so it inspired me to write a play. The play was just about foxes being an endangered species, but the twist of the play was that instead of getting killed, they just went back to Britain and they had a happy life in the meadows there. But anyway, the thing is, now that I fast forward, when I started doing this YouTube, the Friendly Geordies YouTube channel, Jeez, I don't know how I'm supposed to word this. All right. Okay, sorry. There was a lot of dead air just then. Okay, so when I started the Friendly Geordies channel, I just tried to get into like mainstream media, and then I just realized this is fucked. And so I started, moving out of it. And then I realized that you could do stuff on YouTube. So I just, because I'm behind the times by 10 years. And so I just started going, oh yeah, okay, well, I'll just go down that path then. And then I started making videos. Then I made a video about environmental impacts. You know what happened? A fox walked into my house. I was living in Bondi. It was the middle of the day. It was the first video that I was doing that was political in nature. And a fox walked into my house, sniffed my garbage, looked at me and went, oh shit, and ran away. It's the same thing when I started dating my girlfriend for the first time, the one that I've been in a very long-term relationship with now. The first time that I was on a date with her, fox. Being like, yeah. And then when I got a pet dog and I was just like, should I keep it? Or maybe I should give it back. The dog saw a fox and went, and all of these big impact moments in my life of just like, are you going in the right direction? There's always just been a fox being like, in the background. Now, am I just selectively seeing what I want to see? Probably. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about, sorry, let me explain this. This is my new pitch. This is what I've been stewing on for a while, which is the first thing. I'm very scared of the level of biodiversity that is declining in particularly New South Wales. It is one of the worst on earth, up there with the Congo. Oh, what a list to be on anything. The Congo, both of them, yay! We're on that list. And it is because of the huge amounts of clearing this land. And so anyway, I started thinking maybe I should just buy up some land that is, got endangered animals on it, and then just put a patent on it or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Some lock there's some legal lock where you're like, you are not allowed to clear this land ever. So I'm thinking of doing that. And then people started talking to me about the idea and started expanding it and saying what you should actually do is aim to buy farmland, really easy, low-hanging fruits here. Farmland that is already productive and has trees on it that haven't been protected. Then you put a lock on those trees, you regenerate some of that land, and you farm the rest of the land, and you use that money to buy more farmland, and then you just keep expanding out like that. In that you just start buying, first off, fertile farmland, you start planting a bunch of niche things like blueberries, hopefully a lot of native plants that you start planting on it, like macadamia nuts and lemon myrtle and native bees and things like that. And you use that revenue to buy more farmland in easy areas first off. Then it starts to get exciting. Then you lock the areas and you regenerate some of the farmland. Now, the thing is, if you sustainably farm farmland, it's 3 to 5 times more productive than it is if you don't. It's just that most farmers are like, well, this is the way my dad did it, and why is the earth so salty all of a sudden? Oh, nice. Oh, well, I guess I'm a salt miner now. That is the way that most of the land in Australia has become unfertile. It's just 19th century farming practices are just being handed down over and over again from people who originally were dumb convicts who'd never read a book in their life. They're now at 7 generations of never reading a book. But you can produce farmland in a way, just like how Costa Rica has, that actually makes this, it's a win-win. It's a symbiotic relationship. It is an odd land cloudfish anemone where the farmland actually makes the biodiversity grow, and the biodiversity of the area, if you properly tree the farming and, if you build the farming in the right way and you slow the rivers and you graze it the right way and you plant the right plants and then you rotate those crops, it's more effort, but it makes the land more productive and more profitable and drought resistant. This is going to be extremely important when climate change impacts start increasing, that you have arable land and you are farming it in a way that increases the biodiversity, because it acts as a fertilizer, it acts as, an anti-pesticide, all the birds that are coming in and eating all of that. You can farm it in a way that is win-win for everyone, and acts as a carbon sink because you've made the soil extremely rich, which sinks carbon. Anyway, you can do all of that. The problem is most farmers do not want to get educated to that point, and for some reason they just hate the environment. I don't know. I used to live in rural areas. There is a lot of farmers there that just have this kind of like man versus nature, the road to victory attitude. So my plan now, I think, is to start doing fundraisers, buy up a few of these easy farms, just lock the land in koala territory so there is areas that are protected for koalas, and then just start expanding out like that. And then the exciting part is, once you start making enough profit, just not touching any of the money, just investing that money back into farming over and over, just sustainable farming, just expanding it so you make this huge land empire. Anyway, after about 5 or 6 of these farms, what you could then do, and this is the exciting part, is you could then get land that is fucked. That really salty, crappy land that is in mid-New South Wales, because of just people just been like, oh, I burned all the weed on it and now it's not good no more, I wonder why. That land is like $3 a hectare. That land is capable of regenerating. It just takes a while. But if you are able to pay someone to sit on that land and say, look, here's a free house, here's 50 grand a year, regenerate this land, using the knowledge, because this is the other thing as well. There are all of these scientists from the ANU, CSIRO, that will go to these farmers and say, this is the way that you make this land more productive and sustainable. And they'll be like, fuck off or I'll shoot you. But they are giving out this free know-how to people who actually want to use it. So if you buy this farmland and then you just make it sustainable, and then you start regenerating it in these areas that used to be productive farmland but are no longer productive farmland, happy days. You could just keep expanding that model outwards, because the thing is, farming is profitable if you do it the right way. There's just a lot of laziness involved in this, and a lot of refusing to drought-proof the land, or at least make it drought-resistant, right? But you can do these things. These methods exist. And I think that if we all pulled our money together and put it in that, we could kind of make a not-for-profit, where we're just kind of win-winning in the fact that you'd be increasing land food security, you'd be creating carbon sinks, you'd be protecting a lot of land for all of these endangered animals, bringing back their numbers at the same time as producing food in a much more intelligent 21st century way. Anyway, that's my new vision. That's what I'm obsessed with at the moment. Guess what happened when I was walking down the street? In Bondi again. Just at night, I heard this while I was thinking about it, just being like, and then we could just put the cows, and then we bathe the cows from drought-affected areas, all of that stuff. I heard a fox go like, no, well, it was a rustling of sound, and then I saw that it was a fox. And again, it just looked at me for a second, it was like, and then just ran away. I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, there is something, it is what Einstein was saying. It was like the most important question you will ever answer in your life is the universe working in my favor or is it working against me? I am down with Einstein on that. It is called being an inverse paranoid. It is the idea that instead of the world is out to get you, it is that the universe is out to help you and guide you along to a bigger purpose in life. I think that is the difference between people who make big leaps and bounds and those that kind of just live this mediocre nothing life and just kind of just live, consume and die. I think those people, either they think they're like, life's not fair, it's out to get me, it's fucked. Again, it's this thing of just like whatever you focus on in life, that becomes your reality. It's because your brain can only focus on a few things at once. I think it's about 12. But there's billions of things to be focusing on. And some of those things are very exciting. And some of those things are very bleak and ordinary. And it depends what you train your brain to think on. And one of the primary undercutting pillars that you should be aiming for is making your brain think in a way that the universe is guiding me. I think this is because if you study a lot of historical figures, your Nelson Mandelas, your Mahatma Gandhis, Even your Adolf Hitlers. Look, all of them, all of these huge, great historical figures. Great, but terrible. Anyway, all of these huge, great historical figures, they all had that idea that God or some organizing force was out there guiding them for a bigger cause in life. Now, does it necessarily mean that you have to get to the level of Mahatma Gandhi for that to be true? No. This is even true when it comes to smaller level people that have just, they've still lived extremely impressive lives. It's just that they're not Mahatma Gandhi, But a lot of these people have that same attitude. Inverse paranoia. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Well, I don't even know if we'll ever be able to figure that out in 10 generations or 100 generations of human existence. You will never, ever be able to figure out truly if the universe organizes itself to the way that your brain thinks. I mean, look, there's that documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? And then there's all these like, what the bleep do we know debunked? I don't want to watch those What the Bleep Do We Know debunked because, again, I am aware of this. I'm aware of this idea that a lot of the things that you think, purely because of the time that you're alive, in 100, 200 years, there will be people looking down on you just being like, what the fuck, you're an idiot. And the thing is, just like how we did all throughout history before that, there is one consistent thread throughout history, which is inverse paranoia leads to success. Now, does that necessarily mean that it's true? No, but this is definitely true. Some lies are advantageous and other lies are not. It is your job to sift through those things. And the thing is, virtually just assume that everything that you ever know is a lie. To some degree. Some things are more true than others. That's basically it. But anything that you ever say, even when it comes down to really, sciencey things like, look, I'm not advocating climate denial here at all, right? But when you look at the people that say, look, we're releasing 36 gigatons of carbon emissions into the air, and then you'll read other reports that'll say, actually it's 46, actually it's 50. We know it is true that we are emitting huge amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, and we do know that that has a negative impact on the atmosphere. That is all established. What is not established is how much carbon dioxide is being emitted into the atmosphere, because that is very difficult to measure, right? So, just because we don't know that doesn't mean that the rest of it isn't true. That's all I'm saying here. It's just that, like, everything, theory of gravity. We don't know everything about gravity. We just know a lot about it, right? We know that, if you pick up an apple, it goes like, that's true. But there are all these other factors of gravity that we don't know yet. I think this is another one of those cases. Being an inverse paranoid is the same thing. It's just like, even thinking the idea that if you are able to reorganize in your mind that the universe is out to help you, that is going to have a positive impact on the rest of your life. I think that is definitely worth investing in as an idea. Shanks. I think it is. I think it is, because what is the alternative? The alternative is that the world is just random and random shit happens. How debilitating is that thought, as opposed to the thought of like everything is happening for a reason and it's going to work out in the end? As opposed to just like, there's just random shit happens, some people just succeed, some people don't, whatever, Or the other one is just being like, no, it's actually out to fuck me over, personally. And there are people that you come to in life, they might not necessarily think that way in such precise words, but the general aura of them emits that. Whereas when you meet people that are just like, God's got a plan for me, don't you think that they're usually just more upbeat, more positive people? Well, it's just reflected in the statistics. It is that people that are religious, in general, live happier, more meaningful lives than people that are atheists. It doesn't mean that if you're an atheist you can't, it's just that if you have that idea of like, go, when I die, I'm going to be nursing baby Jesus. It just puts happier thoughts in your head. That reorganizes the rest of your mind. And the thing is, it makes setbacks in life easier. Because if you have that idea of like, God's delays are not God's denials, as opposed to like, that didn't work, fuck, my life's fucked. If you just have like this thing of like, oh, that didn't happen and it didn't happen for a reason, you move forward. It reorganizes your psychology in your mind. Anyway. You don't have to agree. But like the video anyway, even if you don't. Because isn't that what this is all about? Discussing things. Fuck. I hate that. I'm just glad we're having this conversation. But like, you know what? I'm glad we're having this conversation. Like the video just for that, but